Good morning, folks. There's a ton of amazing news to cover today, but also disaster. 304 angstrom view here, lots of little filaments. We will indeed begin with our star over at spaceweathernews.com, and we're finding the last day was mostly quiet with a large coronal hole entering Earth-facing position. We've had no sunspots and no solar flares, and the solar wind is dropping out intensity this morning. Eyes on the KP for a potential cosmic ray health advisory if it continues. But indeed, the Earth-facing coronal hole now has one that swung through 2 days earlier out ahead of it, and within 24 hours we should receive a solar wind intensification from it. Let's also take a moment to note the brightness at the limb on the left there. As we use the full sphere viewing from stereo with 0 degrees facing Earth, we'll see stereo A's view of the incoming quadrant to find at least 1 and maybe 2 sunspot active regions incoming behind the limb. Always gorgeous to watch their looping umbral magnetic fields come into visibility. Sometimes visual splendor is not so benign. Krakatoa, a significant eruption that shook the mountain, caused landslides underwater that triggered a major tsunami that raced eastward and devastated the islands. Death toll less than a day later is way over 100, and some of the regions hit by the tsunami have not yet been reached. All the best in their recovery. Let's go to the science news, where we're zooming in on a powerfully variable star, RS Pup, and an incredible ghostly shell. The Hubble image release was an even more detailed set of imaging than what produced the 3D fly-through we saw last year, and what was available when scientists first realized the light echoes could be seen pounded out through the mist. Amazing what the slow crawl of time reveals. Up next, there are a couple of new Earthrise animations from Goddard SVS, mostly showing the famous shot from a few angles, but also noting 2 craters now renamed for famous astronomers, as is known to happen. Let's get to the serious science news here. Italy in a bit of focus today as we first see evidence of electromagnetic pre-earthquake processes affecting the atmosphere up to the ionosphere, including GPS and total electron content, and we see it begin days before the shaking starts. In a frontline study that produced unexpected results, North and Central Italy demonstrate considerable vulnerability to space weather-induced ground currents, but this is not true of the southern region. Fun little science news day for Italy. A complex but on-point work has come out dictating a model where a voltage generator and current generator are active in the magnetosphere-ionosphere circuit. Think of it like the global electric circuit below, just confined to those upper layers and heavily infiltrated by solar wind and space weather events. Last but not least, a bold study out of the American Geophysical Union, dictating the systematic bias and ultimate failure of even the CMIP6, the latest climate model, to account for charged particle aspects of space weather. This has been a huge point we've attempted to make. Climate science really only uses the wave energy and ultraviolet, pretty much ignores X-rays, very much underappreciates charged particles. It is nice to see this express recognition that the climate models are missing major pieces. Folks, if you are coming to the conference in February, your video program guide was posted last night, many conference details, and where to find many more. Yesterday's podcast ran well over the expected hour. We hit a major social story in China and ended with almost 40 minutes on the cyclical catastrophe of Earth. Premium section for members at suspiciousobservers.org. We've got your wind maps followed by shots of our star to close. We'll do this all again tomorrow, right here, but right now it's 4 a.m. in the new Valley of the Sun. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone.